Hey, this is Mr. Barr, and we're going to solve some equations using cube roots and cubes. So we're still trying to solve equations using roots. Why? Because we use them in physics. What does it mean to be a solution? Well, it means if you plug it in, it will work. So look at that first equation right here. And I'll tell you when you have to start putting things in your notes. But looking at this guy right here, what number cubed would equal 27? Oh, 3 times 3 times 3 equals 27. So x equals 3. And right here, what number could I put in here for x and get out a 2? Well, the cube root of 8 is 2. So we're solving some equations. So what does it mean to be a solution? It means if you plug it in, it will work. And on the first one, we saw that 3 works. And on the second one, we saw that 8 works. If you plug it in, it will work. So how do you find a cube? Well, you find a cube with a cube root. Let's get this into our notes. Start with your name. Our title is Solving Equations with Cube Roots. And our first example is right here. X to the third equals 125. My goal is to get the x all by itself. I want it just to be x equals something. But right now I've got a cube bugging that x. How do I fight a cube? I fight it with a cube root. So I'm going to take the cube root of both sides. The cube root cancels out the cube. If you remember yesterday's lesson, you probably think, hey, why isn't Mr. Barr putting a plus or minus in front of this? Well, with a cube root, there's actually only one answer. A square root, we needed the plus or minus because there were 2 answers. So our answer here is x equals 5. Because 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. Notice negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5 would equal negative 125. So it's a different solution. There's the fight, the cube root canceling out the cube, and then I find the cube root of 125, which is 5. This one's a little bit different. How do I fight a cube root? So in the last problem, we fought a cube. How do I fight a cube root? A little bit different type of problem here. The cube root of x equals 7. To fight a cube, I use a cube root. To fight a cube root, I use a cube. So I'm going to cube both sides of this. We'll put it into our notes. Fight a cube root with a cube. The cube root cancels with the cube, and I'm left with x equals 7 times 7 times 7. What is that? 7 times 7 times 7 is 343. That's it for the notes, but we'll do a couple more practice problems now. So things we can do, take the cube root of both sides or cube both sides. Our rainbow poster. Let's do this one. What would you like to do? Well, Mr. Barr, I would like to take the cube root of both sides. Notice that the cube root cancels the cube, and the cube root of 64 is 4. Let's do this one. Oh, how am I going to find a cube root? Well, I'm going to find a cube root with a cube. I'm going to cube both sides of this. It's going to give me x equals 27. Well, how am I going to fight a cube? I fight a cube with a cube root. Well, what's the cube root of 1? 1. What's the cube root of 125? 5. This goes back to our lesson on taking roots and square roots and cube roots of fractions. How do I fight a cube root? I fight a cube root with a cube. 1 cubed is 1. 6 cubed, calculator time. 216. That's 6 times, I did 6 times 6 times 6, which is 216. All right. How do I take care of a cube? How do I fight a cube? I fight a cube with a cube root. Ow. Oh, man, that is some messiness right there, isn't it? Let's try again. Come on, you can do better than that, Mr. Barr. You can do better. Taking the cube root there. Taking the cube root there. The cube root fights the cube. They're gone. Cube root of 8 is 2. Cube root of 27 is 3. So our answer is 2/3. This time I have to fight a cube root. How do I fight a cube root? I fight a cube root with a cube. So I'm going to cube everybody. See, 5 cubed is 125. And 6 cubed, what was that, 2 something? We just had it, right? 216. Ooh. Triplets. Let's do this one. So how do I fight a cube? I fight a cube with a cube root. So I have x equals the cube root of 54. But 54, I can break this thing down. This is actually 3 times 3 times 3 times 2. 3 times 3 is 9. Times 3 is 27. Times 2 is 54. See those triplets right there? They're going to come in front. So it's really 3 cube root of 2. That goes back a couple lessons, how to break down a non-perfect cube. And I believe that's going to be it. No, I still have one more. Oh, I've got more triplets. Going to take the cube root of both sides. Cube root of both sides. The cube root cancels the cube. So x equals the cube root of 48. But I can break that 48 down. See, 48 is 2 times 24. 24 is 2 times 12. 12 is 2 times 6. I'm going to leave this 6 because there's nothing else left in it that I can use. And so I have a triplet right here. And we're going to pull our triplets out. So it's 2 cube root of 6. All right. Hey, thank you for watching.